In December of 2016, that time of uncertainty and fear, I gathered with a group of Unitarian Universalist colleagues, and the Reverend Sean Parker Dennison led us all in a few hours of drawing and singing and moving. And it didn't fix everything, but it helped, right? And so when I was scheduling out our calendar for worship, I looked at when the election date was and what we might need after the election and thought, we're going to draw together and we're going to sing. We might even dance. I hope you dance. And then the election, at least in Michigan, was so good, right? I mean, it was surprising how good it was, how our values are shared by more people in our state than we thought, right? Or than we feared. So first, thank you all, especially those of you who were door knockers or poll workers or donators or got your people voting. It was hard and it was good. And because we know that one election is not our ruin or our redemption, I think we still need to create today. I think we do. We probably do every day, right? And so we are going to sing and dance and draw. So I have some paper and some markers and some colored pencils and some pens, both up here in the very front and back there in the very back. And I encourage you, whatever your age, whatever you think your skill level is, to be drawing today as we worship together. Because there's something about moving our hands about the act of creation that matters. So come, let us gather together. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. Welcome to this opportunity to be together in community, which is a time of joy, comfort, and sometimes challenges. People's Unitarian Universalist Congregation is a place where we come to learn more about being human. We are not here because we figured out life's questions or because we think we've got it right. We come here to learn more about being in relationship together, how to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion in one another. My name is Becky Moffett-Moore. I'm from the Sunday Services Committee. I would like to extend a welcome to everyone gathered here this morning, though we are spread afar, whether you're new or a regular, and in person or on Zoom. A special welcome to the confirmation class from First Congregational Church of Kalamazoo, more affectionately known as First Congo, and to those of you who are visitors to our service or here for the first time. Thank you for being with us this morning at People's Church. So now let us move into worship, willing to be authentic with each other, honest with ourselves, open to connection in all its forms, which today will include drawing, dancing, and making music together.
And as we begin, I have several announcements. First, coming up is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. It is a solemn time to remember transgender folks who were killed in acts of transgender violence over the past year. And there are two gatherings to which People's People are invited. The first is on Friday at 11 a.m. at Kalamazoo College in Stetson Chapel. And the second is at 5 p.m. next Sunday, right here at People's Church. That gathering is hosted by Outfront. Now, thank you to everyone for all of the preparations for our church holiday bazaar, which is next Saturday, which means this is the last Sunday you have to hear announcements about it. So, yes, I'm with you. But it has come together so beautifully. So it's more thank yous than asks to offer right now. So thank you to Martha Beverly and all of the Limpa bread bakers. Can you guys let yourselves be known? Yay. There is going to be so much. It's not going to run out in the first half hour. We hope. Still, come at 9 a.m. if you want it. Thank you to everyone who helped make cranberry chutney with Donna McClurkin. To all who helped Joe Friedel make his popular puppy chow. I know, right? It's so good. To all who have signed up and plan to bring many dozens of homemade specialty foods and handmade items. To all of the hardworking and talented people specialty team who have produced and will produce and arrange and price all of these contributions. And to Rick and the Rick Writers team who traveled over our community, distributing flyers to businesses. So there's a couple things. First, tomorrow night at 6:30, we're gonna do 1 hour of moving furniture and things, and then we give you pizza. So come, and the Building and Grounds Committee will then do their more skilled work on Tuesday morning. If you plan to stay at the bazaar for more than a couple of hours, please consider driving up to Center Point Church a little further north on 10th Street and parking there. Gary Ledley will be driving his car back and forth the whole day. Thank you, Gary. And Rick, do we have any more yard signs? They're all gone. I don't need to make that announcement. Great. If you have a yard sign, remember to put it out and remember then to take it in. So please plan to come and shop and invite others. We are going to have 25 local artists and artisans. And this is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. Please come. Okay, let's sing now. I invite you to get into whatever posture helps you sing your very best for our introit.
How we doing? Can't wait to sing together. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that arose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that arose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that arose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose
I would like to invite Kaya Johnson up to light our chalice this morning. If you are lighting a chalice at home, you are encouraged to type in the chat box. A chalice is lit in your neighborhood, on your street, in your city. Exploring who we are. Under the right circumstances, playing with fire is a delight. Imagine being gathered round a fire pit as the crackling flames invite us to sing, dance, and roast a marshmallow or two. Our chalice also invites us to play, although with ideas rather than marshmallows. The flame encourages us to explore who we are, who our neighbors are, and where we are on our spiritual journeys. Today, we light this chalice in the spirit of play. Let us trust the light to guide us in this hour and in the days to come, finding joy along the way.
In addition to our chalice flame here at People's Church, chalices are being lit in this moment in Millwood, at Evergreen North in Oshtemo, in Paw Paw, in Parkview Hills, in Galesburg, and at Friendship Village. We are so glad we are able to gather in this way together. And in Portage. And Texas Township. They're just coming in quick on the Zoom chat right now. Now I would love to invite our smaller people and anybody who is feeling like they want to get a really good look at the pictures forward for a story. Oh, can you guys sit down here so you can see the pictures? If you sit behind me, you're not going to be able to see them. Yeah. I am so glad that all of you are here today. Oh, that's some beautiful drawing. Okay. Oh, you guys are doing some great drawing. And that's perfect because do you know what this book is about? It's about someone who loves to draw. So let's start it. So there's the pictures are here on this book, but they're also on our screens here and way up there. So make sure you're in a place because a book about drawing, you want to be able to see the pictures. So this is called Ish by Peter Reynolds. Ramon loved to draw. Do any of you love to draw? Yeah. Nice. It's pretty fun. It's not for everybody, but it's pretty fun. Anytime, you see he's drawing late at night. Anything, he's drawing a bunch of garbage cans. And anywhere. Do you see where he's drawing? On the toilet. Yeah, that's pretty silly. But I guess if you love to draw, you'll draw anywhere, right? Yeah. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother, Leon, leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out laughing. "What is that?" he asked. Ramon could not even answer. He just crumpled up the drawing and threw it across the room. You guys ever felt like that? Yeah. Yeah. It's not a good feeling, is it? No. Leon's laughter haunted Ramon. He kept trying to make his drawings look right, but they never did. Look at all these crumples. That's so much crumpled. After many months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Ramon put his pencil down. "I'm done," he said. He's quitting drawing, done drawing. Marisol, his sister, was watching him. What do you want? He snapped. I was watching you draw, she said. Ramon sneered. I'm not drawing anymore. Go away. Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. Hey, come back here with that. Ramon raced after Marisol, up the hall and into her room. What do you see in the room? Yeah. Yeah, she does only have a bed, but we're looking at the walls more. Yeah, as he was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery. This is one of my favorites, Marisol said, pointing. That was supposed to be a vase of flowers, Ramon said, but it doesn't look like one. Well, it's vase-ish, she exclaimed. Vase-ish? Ramon looked closer. Then he studied the drawings on Marisol's wall and began to see them in a whole new way. They do look ish, he said. Ramon felt light and energized. Have any of you ever felt like that? Yeah, that's a good feeling, isn't it? Thinking ishly allowed his ideas to flow freely. Oh, are you demonstrating? Yeah. He began to draw what he felt, loose lines, quickly springing out without worry. Ramon once again drew and drew the world around him. Making an ish drawing felt wonderful. He filled his journals. Do we see there's tree-ish, house-ish, boat-ish, afternoon-ish. This one's my favorite. Fish-ish, sun-ish. Ramon realized he could draw feelings too. Peace-ish, silly-ish, excited-ish. His ish art inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poem-ish. So here's one that he wrote. It's called Ponder. Ponder, dream, yonder, ponder, yond, gleam, wander. That's poem-ish, right?
That's a lot of work.
One spring morning, Ramon had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. You know what savored means? What? What does it mean? It savors like when something is so good, you just want it to last forever. Did you have, what is it? When you just enjoy it. That is a perfect definition. And so Ramon lived ishfully ever after. So I love that story because it reminds me that drawing maybe isn't about getting it perfect, but it's about enjoying the process. And I can see some of you working on your drawings. Oh, that's fierce. I see a lot of teeth.
Yeah, also the fake of the snake slashing out his mouth, that's a scary.
Oh, snakes coming out of the mouth? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well. Whoa. Okay. Well, it is time for us to sing you all to your classes. But if you want to leave your drawings so we can see them, you can put them on the table right there. And if you want to take them with you, that's fine too. So we sing you out ishfully.
in search of wisdom, with love to guide you on your way. And may the joy of life surround you wherever you may go. Go forth in peace in search of wisdom, with love to guide you on your way. And may the joy of life surround you wherever you may go.
Once a month, People's Church sends our offering out into the world to do good and important work in our community. Today, our special offering is to benefit the Black Lives Matter Kalamazoo Battle Creek meal train. We've already been giving them our returnable bottles, but hopefully you will give in increments more than a dime at a time today. So EJ is here to speak with us, and I invite you to please give generously.
Good morning. So the last time I stepped into this building was before the pandemic. And I just want to say that I'm glad you all made it and that you're still here. And whenever we're in gatherings of this size, just want to acknowledge there are probably those who didn't make it and aren't here, and just acknowledge that too as a guest in your space. So good morning. My name is Reverend Emily Joy Magahi, and I actually used to facilitate doing our own work in this space. It's an anti-racism seminar for white people that I used to do with my colleagues at Allies for Change some years back. And during those sessions, I had the honor and privilege of getting to know some of your members who were and are such good people. And roaming about in this space, which is such good space. And it's a gift to be back. So thank you for having me. I'm clergy in the United Church of Christ. Shout out to my fellow UCCers over there. Had no idea we were going to co-occur in here, but here we are. Yeah. So even though our denominations had some doctrinal squabbles back in the 1800s, that resulted in some schism over fine pieces of silver, which I still don't really understand. I think that our common ancestors in faith and our radical theology and our ongoing commitments to peacemaking are actually sound ecumenical foundations. So I consider us kindred in the work and life of faith. In fact, a lot of folks, I don't know if y'all know this, jokingly refer to us UCCers as Unitarians considering Christ. And I really do take it as a compliment. I mean, some of my very favorite people on earth are UUs, truly. So from our work together in developing the Our Whole Lives curriculum, I'm a facilitator of Our Whole Lives, to the decades-long side-by-side struggles we've engaged around ending war and establishing marriage equality and reproductive rights, in and through the centuries-long, often messy path of attempting to establish ecological, religious, racial, gender, disability, and class justice, we have a history, albeit an imperfect one, of showing up together for truth, mercy, and justice. So I just want to start by saying thank you for the love of the planet and love of the people and the witness for peace and justice that you bring to our world. I'm here specifically today to talk about Meal Train, but I wanted to start off acknowledging the connection to faith, because what I'm about to call on here from you is a powerful force that has shown me the face of God throughout my entire life, and that's congregational care. We are people who have developed practices of mutual aid for thousands of years. It's in our DNA to tangibly care for human beings inside and outside of our walls, with bread and soup, with transportation and advocacy and childcare and shelters and prayers said and cards written and all of the social networks we developed to carry it all out. I'd like to think that our congregational care comes not from the paternalism of pity or unconscious privilege, so often masking and driving what's considered charity, but rather because our various traditions teach us that extending hospitality is, for us as people of faith, where we meet and are transformed by the sacred. I'm here to call on that shared belief and value today. In the racial justice uprisings of 2020, in response to the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, our local chapter of BLM regathered and made a call for local organizers across racial identities to get moving in solidarity. The Meal Train team was founded there and then, and it was primarily feeding Black organizers who were putting their lives and their labor on the line in the dignity and defense of Black life. Since then, we've become a sovereign team adjacent to BLM because we are multiracial organizers and we want to respect the Black-only makeup of BLM chapters. From that adjacency, we continue to feed, equip, and center Black families exclusively in our work. In the 2.5 years of our existence, we've served upwards of 25 families across Kalamazoo and Battle Creek and distributed 5,200 meals. There are 3 families that have been fed for the entirety of that 2.5 years. Some families get short-term service and then they go off of a train and then they come back on when a need is presented, no questions asked. We've also started a diaper train and a menstrual products train as well. These numbers are significant and speak to the power and reach of our care, but I also want to set alongside these numbers the culture of organizing inside of our team and in our volunteer base that is equally beautiful. We move at a sustainable pace, at a relational rhythm pace, and reject the white supremacist and capitalist culture of urgency that so often burns our activists out. We strive to bring people in ways that honor their true gifts. We want cooks to cooks and people who are good at Microsoft Excel to do that. We want people who are good on social media to kind of help us advertise who we are. And we want everyone, absolutely everyone on our organizing team, in our volunteer base, and our families to experience joy, palpable joy in the doing and receiving of Meal Train. You've been moving with us as a congregation for about 1.5 years, and we want to thank you and your leaders in particular who have navigated how to stay connected with us amidst a pandemic. You are the only local church that has been able to figure out how to do that, and we are so grateful for your enduring partnership. You've offered us can drive space, volunteer cooks, and today we are here to ask for a level up. A lot of the knee-jerk reactivism of 2020 has died down, but the needs have not. In short, we need sustained acts of care for the long haul, people alongside us who want to prioritize anti-racist redistribution of resources as a way of life, not just when there's a headline. Will you be and do that with us as people of faith, as people with congregational care and mutual aid in your DNA? That's the ask this morning. And here's how you can do it. You can donate into that basket. I'm going to stop talking shortly. I know you've been standing a long time. Sorry. We love the money. Please give it to us. We love it. And then you can sign up to be a cook on one of our meal trains. And I have that sign up. You can find me afterwards and I can tell you how to do it. You can also add money to the People's Food Co-op's electronic gift card for us at the BLM meal train at People's Food Co-op. And you can also donate items to our diaper train and menstrual supply train. And I can also tell you how to do that. So if you can hook in any of those ways, we'd be so grateful. I'll be hanging out after church right back there to answer any questions you might have or to hear more. Come find me. I want to end with a quote from Michelle Alexander. Our only hope for our collective liberation is a politics of deep solidarity rooted in love. Thank you.
please join me in saying, giving thanks for all that sustains us. From the countless gifts we each have been given, gifts of life and love and sustenance, we bring these small portions to share in the works of love, which none of us can accomplish alone.
People's Church is a community of care. One of the ways we offer care to each other is by taking time during our service to invite those who wish to share the joys, sorrows, and milestones of their lives. So if you have something you want to share with our gathered community today, if you are on Zoom, please type it into the chat box. If you are here in person, please come forward, place a stone into our bowl of water, speak briefly, and share your name. And you are invited to just place a stone or ask for a stone, if that's what you prefer. Place a few more stones for the joys and sorrows we are holding quietly in our hearts today, those in our wider community and in our wider world. Sources of reason and radiance, sources of courage and compassion, keep watch with those who work or watch or weep this day. May the suffering be soothed. May the weary find rest. May the sick be tended. May the dying and those who love them find peace. May the joyous be shielded. And may all of us know we are wrapped in a love that surrounds us always, a web that connects us to all that exists. Our words for meditation today are a spell for warriors and heroes. And as I read these words from Atina O'Danner, I invite them to cast a new truth into your life, at least a little bit more. I say no with strength and conviction. Without blinking, I say no. My yes is a gift to bestow and to receive. I declare myself protected by organizing for collaboration, by delegating, by sharing. I will work with people I can trust to hold what I put down. By the power of asking for and receiving help, I release control and call it opportunity. I make room to rest, imagine, and connect more deeply to my purpose. I protect my relationships. I pour into them from my cup of time. I start with myself. I lay down my important work and seek rest. I gently cast aside compliments that elevate exhaustion and sacrifice of wellness and turn toward relationships. I speak my intention for wellness into being and into the knowing of others. I claim time for relationships, for family, friends, neighbors, pets. I show up for my own life. There is enough of me to be there for my people because I protect my time like I protect my people. I accept my imperfection as natural, my own unmapped territory, my language to learn. I map my own self, live in my own self, speak my own self. I create sanctuary with the resulting lessons a land loving me gives me. I let things go. I let go sooner rather than later. I don't need wiggle room. I need a dance floor with a resting bench. And as I move to the dance floor, I open up space for another to succeed in the work where I cannot, will not, or don't want to. I am one of many, intentionally de-centered, blessedly replaceable, forgiving, forgiven, and grateful for the lesson. Others can bloom as I lay fallow. I slow down. I call on discernment to examine the cost of speed, to ask who gets left behind if I surge ahead. I give myself over to my deepest senses to locate stories and histories beyond my own and feel for the connection between us. I cast away white supremacy culture. You will not prosper here. You will burn away when confronted by wisdom and commitment. I call on the wisdom and commitment of my people, known and unknown. The wisdom our communities hold in all its facets, reflections, and shadows. Will banish the illusion of efficiency being best for everyone, of the clock being the same as time, of the inconvenience of accountability and justice. We cast out quiet exclusion of our siblings. Together, we grow towards liberation at the speed of care. Ego, opportunity hoarding, perfectionism, I cast you out. Low expectations, control, uncreative thinking, cast you out. Racism, ableism, sexism, I cast you out. I call in the protective powers of respect, curiosity, vulnerability, grace, trust, care, and love. Cover me against the siren call of urgency and emergency. I call on the powers of rest, play, and joy to stand between me and despair and burnout. I call on beloved community. Guide me toward life, toward love, toward care. May it be so. Blessed be.
Please feel free to join us in song from your seats. Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
The first reading this morning is entitled Rebirth by Lynn Ungar. When she was 8, the teacher suggested that when the class stood on stage to sing, she should just mouth the words. She would, the teacher assured her, still be pretty like a princess. When he was 6, he wanted to be pretty like a princess. He wanted the tiara, the fluffy gown, and the high heels. He rather suspected that he also wanted the prince. He only asked for the gown, but the horrified edge to his mother's laugh as she steered him toward the Batman cape was enough to make it clear he didn't belong in that particular carriage. When she was 48, she joined the community choir. There were no auditions. There was a chair in the alto section. She sang quietly at first, and then as no one shushed her, she sang out loud, really out loud for the first time. They sang songs from all over the world in Spanish, Russian, Siberian, languages she was only barely aware even existed. They were, all of them, her songs. When he was 28, his community sponsored the prom you never went to. He wore a blue taffeta gown, spiked heels, and a tiara. Strangers stood outside the door to welcome him. They blocked the signs of the protesters. They told him he was breathtaking. It wasn't easy walking down the stairs toward the twinkling lights of the hall, and the heels were only half the problem. But he kept walking, even managed to sweep his train as he came through the door. That was the night he met his prince. The second reading is entitled Rereading Frost by Linda Paxton. Sometimes I think all the best poems have been written already, and no one has time to read them. So why write more? At other times, though, I remember how one flower in a meadow, already full of flowers, somehow adds to the general fireworks effects as you get to the top of the hill in Colorado, say in high summer, and just look down at all the brimming color. I also try to convince myself that the smallest note of the smallest instrument in the band, the triangle, for instance, is important to the conductor who stands there pointing his finger in the direction of the percussion, demanding that one silvery ping. And I decide not to stop trying, at least for a while, though in truth, I'd rather sit here reading how someone else has been acquainted with the night already and perfectly.
Our final reading is Badly by Lynn Unger. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. No one ever did something well without doing it poorly first. But if we're going to get real, the chances of you ever getting really good are slim at best. The Olympics and the pro leagues fled with the end of your puberty. Maybe the Nobel or Pulitzer is out there waiting, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Even on our best days, most of us are merely competent, and much of the time, adequate is a stretch. Appearances aside, this might be one of the happiest things I know. I hereby absolve you of the need to be better than anyone else. Poof. It is possible to suck at things with great love. Grab your uke and I'll grab my mandolin. Meet me on the porch. We'll play together under tempo and ever so slightly out of tune. So let us sing.
Please rise and body your spirit for this one. You need a lot of air. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Everybody turn and spin. Let your body learn to bend. And like a willow with the wind. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark, there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance. the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, beat the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
What does the soul do? American writer Sue Monk Kidd wonders. She says it does two things. It loves and it creates. Those are its primary acts. Our souls love and our souls create. There is such joy in creation. Art, dance, music, writing, cooking, sports, and on and on. That act of creating something new, following where our imagination leads, moving our bodies and our minds and our habits in new ways. It is there for us, as close as pen and paper or the rhythms that get stuck in our minds. And yet I at least struggle to remember that. I know there are many artists in our circle, many musicians here today, and perhaps you are able to make the time, but I suspect maybe you even need the reminders. So often we limit these possibilities for joy. They're limited by others, like the teacher in our poem today who told the young singer to mouth the words, or the parent who refuses the princess dress. They're limited by our own sense of ourselves. We become like the poet who doesn't want to write because the good poems already exist and nobody reads those ones anyway. And even sometimes we are that critical voice that keeps someone else from finding their joy. For example, when I have found activities for my young children to participate in, I intentionally never signed them up for gymnastics because I knew they would never have the body type to make it to the Olympics, which is absurd, right? Like a 3-year-old can do gymnastics at the Y without putting, like, that is not a pathway to glory at the Olympics in 16 years. It doesn't have to be. And it could have been joyful. So maybe you've done this kind of thing too, when you say, oh, I can't learn a new language because I am too old and so I will never become fluent. Or you don't play tennis anymore because Wimbledon is out of reach. I think we do this to ourselves more often than we realize. What I can create isn't good enough to get me an artist booth at the People's Church Bazaar, so why bother? But being bad at something that you enjoy is fine. As the poet reminds us, it is possible to suck at things with great love. So my invitation for you all today is to mute those voices, whether they are coming from outside or inside, that tries to put limits on your joy, on your creativity. What if we try not to pass on the limits that others have tried to impose on us, onto others? And what if we can find a way to be like that younger sister in our story who loved the ish art that even the creator of the art did not appreciate? Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. I feel like I need to get that bumper sticker on my car or on a mirror that I look at every day. What could it mean to do something that we love if we aren't good at it? Why not sing and draw and paint and dance and create, even if you'll never win any sort of award? Because it is fun. In a world where so much is so awful, so much of the time, where when you feel joyful, all you need to do is turn on the news or look at a headline to realize that things are not joyful everywhere. Joy is an act of resistance. It is not an accident that this was our plan for a Sunday after an election. And even though we can feel pleased with how things go, we still need to seek out joy. Seeking pleasure and creativity and love feeds our souls and helps strengthen us to live in this world that is beautiful and broken. This is why I pray every week for the joyous to be shielded. Joy is fragile. Joy is precious. Joy is necessary. As activist and author Adrienne Marie Brown writes, pleasure, embodied connected pleasure, is one of the ways we know we are free, that we are always free, that we always have the power to co-create the world. Pleasure helps us move through the terrors, the terror of genocide or days when the demands are just overwhelming, through grief and loneliness, through times that are unfair. Pleasure heals the places where our hearts and spirits get wounded. Pleasure reminds us that even in the dark, we are alive. Pleasure is medicine for the suffering that is absolutely promised in life. Joy, creativity is not frivolous. It is vital work. And creating is one of the best pathways to joy. And the thing is, we can't know it in advance, but sometimes the world needs what we have to create, what we have to offer, even and maybe especially when we ourselves are skeptical of it. Maybe there's that someone keeping the gallery of drawings that we have rejected. Or maybe our crumpled up drawings say crumpled up. We cannot know. But who are we to be the critics? Even the experts don't always know if their creations are worthwhile. I'm going to close the sermon today with advice of Martha Graham, who was a pioneer of modern dance and one of the premier dancers and choreographers of the last century. She was a friend of Agnes DeMille, who choreographed the Broadway musical Oklahoma. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's extended dream ballet sequence where you kind of learn more about the characters based on how they're dancing. And DeMille really thought it was not her best work. She thought it was mediocre at best. But the rest of the world disagreed and saying this dream ballet opened new possibilities for dance and musical theater. DeMille complained to her friend Martha Graham that no one was giving attention to the work that she was actually proud of, and Graham offered this advice. There is a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action. And because there's only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not even have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep yourself open and aware to the urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. She concludes, no artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any time. There's only a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive. What does our soul do? It loves, it creates, and our work is to keep ourselves open and aware of the urges that motivate us. We do not need to determine how good or how valuable, nor how it compares with other expressions. And maybe just maybe our own self-critical voice can turn into that blessed unrest that keeps us marching. So may we create, may we draw and dance and write and make music or sculpt or woodwork or cook or whatever it is that is your thing. May we experience the queer, divine dissatisfaction that keeps us marching and alive. May we know joy and may we spread joy. May it be so. May we make it so. And amen. And now this is your invitation to make some of this real, you guys. So Chris Mazeros is coming forward, and I know you've noticed that we have a whole variety of instruments. So I encourage you to do something, whether that's make music or there's going to be dancing, that you think you might suck at with great love, right? We are not here for perfection. We are here for joy.
Let me explain what we're going to do. So one of the things that I do in my life is I teach art and music for Bangor Public Schools. And a bunch of years ago, I discovered this great way of teaching music called Orff Schulwerk, which was created by a guy named Carl Orff, who wanted children to be able to have access to more than just playing a single part. And so he created works and he created all kinds of a whole marvelous approach to creating music, which is very, very accessible. It's very success oriented. And so today I'm going to invite you guys to kind of come and join in that. So the basis of it is a song that's called The Sun is Rising. And I want to teach that to you snap quick. So here we go. So some of you will be invited to come up and play our metallophones. And so it's a simple going up the scale from C to G. So it's just walking up. You can walk upstairs. You can walk up the scale. The sun is rising to warm the day. It moves on westward and it fades away. So let's learn that in echo. So everybody say C, D, E, F, G. The sun is rising. Put them together. C, D, E, F, G. The sun is rising. My turn. C, D, E, F, G to warm the day. C, D, E, F, G, it moves on westward. C, D, E, F, G, and it fades away. And those of you who are going to play won't have to say C, D, F, G, and we won't be singing C, D, F, G, but those are the notes that we play. So let's try that together. So the sun is rising to warm the day. It moves on westward and fades away. Let's try it. The sun is rising to warm the day. It moves on westward and it fades away. So that's the A section of our song. The B section of our song is going to be 32 bars of improvisation. So what you'll be doing is, but it's easy peasy lemon squeezy improvisation. Literally, you'll take your left hand, you will play a C note, and your right hand will play any note, D to G, and it sounds marvelous together. Orff noticed that if he created music that was modal, and he took out the fourths and he took out the sevenths, anything sounded really good with itself as long as we didn't change keys. So it sounds kind of nice. You just go. And if other people are doing that, we create this marvelous thing. And as long as we're hanging on to that C, we'll keep the chordal center. And then we'll be inviting some people to come up and do some solos. I hope our my violist will come up and do some solo. I know. My daughter plays cello, and we get the shade, we do. So, and then we'll also be having some dancing. So let's talk about that for a second. So there'll be, you'll get into groups of 4 if you want to dance. And yeah, let's do it down here. Thank you all very much for that. All right. So, and then the third thing that we have is for those of you that just you like to watch the parade and not necessarily be in the parade, we have something for you to do as well. I have bells that are C, E, and G, and all you have to do is to take a bell and take a mallet, and you can play it whenever the mood strikes you. And it'll be this marvelous little tinkling, twinkling all over the place. So we need some people who would like to come up and be musicians. We'd like some people who would like to come up and be dancers. The dance spaces we figured would be best kind of over here, in the middle, over yonder. So this is your chance to come onto the court and to play in this marvelous. So, kind of find a group of 4 if you'd like to be a dancer. These bass metallophones have mallets inside of them if you want to reach inside of them. And 2 people can be on each metallophone, so you can share a metallophone. Please do.
Did anybody bring a recorder? We got a recorder. Okay, recorders can be their own group too. Thanks.
Those of you who are playing at home, you can dance with us. You can sing. So it's going to go A, B, and then we'll just kind of see how it goes. We might have some individual groups perform while we have some solos. Let's hear a little bit of the B section. So with your left hand, play that C, and then with the right hand, play anything you want with your right hand. Here we go. And that's about 32 bars. All right, marvelous. So let's start. Ready, and C, D, E, F, G. The sun is rising. to warm the day. It travels westward and it fades away. Halfway to our next A section. And C, D, E, F, G, the sun is rising to warm the day. It travels westward and it fades away. And sing, the sun is rising to warm the day. It travels westward and it fades away. The sun is rising to warm the day. It travels westward and it fades away. Slow it down a little bit. Last time. The sun is rising to warm the day. It travels westward and it fades away. All right.
Oh, musicians, don't move. You're doing our postlude today.
That's true. Didn't tell you that bit.
That was really fun. So let us go out into this snowy world a little bit happier, a little bit more filled with joy, a little bit more confident in our own abilities to create than we were before. And now for our postlude, it is our musicians. So our xylophone choir, our
6
choir.
Ready, and the sun is rising to warm the day. It travels westward and it fades away. The sun is rising to warm the day. It travels westward and it fades away. Find an ending. Can I take you guys on the road? That was great. Easy.